All right, welcome everybody. Happy Halloween. I am Smart Chick Megan Orser with Smart Apartment Solutions and Smart Moves, navigating around a sick dog. And today I have a very special guest, Elizabeth Doss, or as we lovingly refer to her as Izzy from IzzyInk Studios. Welcome, Izzy. Welcome to today's presentation.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm going to go back a little bit, guys. Let me remove that. We're excited to have everybody here. I have been asked a lot about GIFs, and we're going to cover all of that in the way that it helps with exposure. But probably one of the biggest questions I get is, how do I do it? What are they about? How can I leverage them for my business? And I get this question a lot. I'm sure Izzy gets it more than me because it's more her space. And so I thought, well, maybe we should just bring Izzy to the community, let her speak about it. I'll share what I know, what I've experienced personally, the growth that I've had, even that I've been tracking in the last 60 to 90 days. And, by even the passive growth that we've had. I was going to share all of that with the audience, let you guys meet Izzy. And then if there's more interest of this, then we can continue this conversation more. I want you to know that there is a resource for the busy entrepreneurs, and especially in my space, the multifamily industry. Sometimes we can't do everything. So we've got an expert here that can also help you if you want to get Giphy with it. So let's get started. All right, so there is a chat. So if you guys have any questions, you can always drop that right in the chat. We can try to answer them live, or if not, then we will definitely get to them after the show. And just so that you know, you have to step away because we know emergencies happen, things happen. You are going to get a link to the recording of this show, as well as a link to the slides today. So you will have the tools and tips and contact information for Izzy and I if you want to talk a little bit more about it. All right, so let's get Giphy with it. All right, so like I said, I am Smart Chick Megan Orser. I'm the new CEO. I purchased Smart Apartment Solutions and Smart Moves from my mom, actually at the end of 2022. So getting into my new CEO role and getting used to that, and really getting Giphy with it through the whole experience has been fun, and kind of documenting that in stories. And it's been fun, and I've enjoyed having the stickers and the gifts and that experience to kind of round out the whole new experience in my new position. And so when I really started to lean into gifts, it was probably in 2021. And it was actually, I had been using gifts probably like a lot of people. And I wanted to just go a little bit further. I had actually saw the Drew Barrymore show in stories, and I was like, well, how did she do that? And then I started to pay attention a little bit more, and I noticed that there were some realtors that had it, and keys for houses. And I'm like, hey, that's in the real estate space, that's where I operate here too. And maybe there's something to this. Like, you can actually customize them. It's not these huge mega big brands like McDonald's, or beer, or wherever that can have their own stickers and be searchable. It was actually real life people. And so I was piqued. And so at that same time, I had joined, Clubhouse, and I was learning new ways that I could kind of stand out as a smaller brand through the ways. And gifts became one of those ways that, I loved all of the opportunities around it. I could brand our digital content, which is really hard to do. If we put stuff out there on social media, we don't have a lot of control about branding it. We can wear colors, we can wear logoed shirts, but as far as business, it's difficult to bring your logo into the scheme, especially if you're not like a 10,000 follower on Instagram. You can't really, get branded, or, you're not getting paid sponsorships necessarily. And so I wanted a little bit more. And I was introduced to Izzy in a Clubhouse room. We were in a Clubhouse room. Rita made me do it. Has Wake Up and Win. At that point, she had it every single day. And Izzy hopped on stage, and she just completely changed my mind about that gifts were not just for just for fun. They weren't just for passive conversations and, laughing conversations. It was about being able to brand content and really being able to elevate my brand in a whole way that I didn't even think about. And that literally just scratched the surface. And I jumped in, and I think I was given like a very small budget by my CEO at the time. And she's like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but here's like a very small budget and you can see what happens. And Izzy gave me 55 stickers and GIFs. And within about 4 months, I went into our Giphy account. I hadn't been in there in several months, and we had over 2 million views. And I'm like, hold the phone. Something is happening here. This is a very small budget that I spent on this. And this is even, some of the stickers were things that I had added. And so I really started to pay more attention to use them more. And then it was watching Izzy in her stories and learning more about that education, I was able to go a little bit deeper. So let's hear about Izzy and her journey. And so I've got some bullets here on the screen, but Izzy, you can go ahead and share your own story because you're here. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I have always been fascinated with animation ever since I was a kid. I was the annoying one. My parents wouldn't let us turn on the television on our own unless they were present. So on Saturday mornings when the cartoons were out, I would go and like stare at them as they were sleeping, like wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, because I wanted my cartoons because I loved, and it wasn't just the storylines and all the stuff. I loved the animation side of things. But I was on Instagram several years ago and I saw another artist that had made her own. She was like, guys, check out my new stickers that I made for myself. And I was like, you can make your own stickers? I want one. So that was probably 5 years ago now that I did that. And so I made at the time they only allowed artists to have their stickers available. So, and you had to make 40 of them to show what kind of work that you were going to create. And so mainly I was making like days of the week, some other like just stickers that people might put on their stories, and that's good morning and that type of stuff on there. And I put those out there, and honestly, I forgot about them. But I during it was at the beginning of 2020 when everything was crazy, and I was already in this mode of trying to shift what I was doing. And I had attended this conference, and this gentleman had said, look to where the attention of your generation is and the skills in your hand and lean into it. And so I was like, okay. And so that week, one of the girls in my youth group came up to me and said, there's this girl talking about you on TikTok. And I was like, what's TikTok? That's what time we were in, period, people.
Right.
And she had over 6 million followers. She worked for Delta Airlines. She's one of their traveling content creators for around the world. And she had made a post that said, hey, if you're looking for cute stickers, search these people. And I was one of the names that she's listed. And she's like, search IzzyInk on Giphy to do this. And I was like, hold up. And so I went and looked at my Giphy account for the first time in years and saw that my GIFs had been viewed over 3 billion times by this point. And I was like, hold up, what's going on? And so it was that idea of look to where the attention of your generation is and lean into it, and the skills in your hand. Well, I can make GIFs and stickers. There's obviously some attention here because I went on to Google myself, which everyone should do.
Yeah.
Every once in a while to find out what is actually out there in association with my name. And so I had typed it in and saw that many people had referred to my GIFs as ones that people could use on their stories. So what that did for me is I dug back into the Giphy side of things, and I saw that they had added a place for brands and influencers and creators to be able to create their own Giphy accounts so that their stickers and GIFs would become searchable. So I leaned into the marketing side and started to think about them in a different way of how our brands, especially the big brands, how are they using these throughout their digital presence to make a connection. Because guys, I don't know about you, but I have a family text thread group text thread it's basically us sending gifs to each other. Like it's its own language now. Like GIF wars and all those things, they can happen on a regular basis. And so but I was thinking about how could brands and businesses leverage this space to be able to interact with their communities. And a couple of the things that I love, and maybe I think we're going to get into this a little bit. So we're going to talk about metrics. I'm looking at the screen now.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
so just very quickly, so a Giphy view is anytime a GIF is presented before someone as an option. So when you go into any GIF search and you hit that GIF, so say it's a Facebook comment or a Facebook post or Instagram DM or Instagram comments now, or even Instagram stickers, like where you're looking for those things. Anytime you go to search, type into that search, anytime a GIF is presented to you, that is considered a view. But Giphy does let you know some of the analytics of engagement as far as when someone searches this particular word, how often are they choosing your GIF to go in it, and we can dig into that just a little bit more. But it does stand. Do you want to do? Is this you or is this me? Okay.
No, it's a good segue. So keep going. You're the expert.
I do pronounce it GIF. You guys, I accept all enunciations because I think it's hilarious and it's its own cult thing. But Giphy, I say GIF because I am a verified artist with Giphy. And at this point, my GIFs have been viewed over 4.4 billion times. That doesn't include the over 40 clients that I've helped create their own GIF libraries for them to use across social. There's many of theirs are in the hundreds of millions now too. And just like Megan's have boosted, but it does stand for graphic interchange format. And a little bit of the lore behind it is the gentleman who created it. His name was Stephen Wellhite. He actually died of COVID last year, which is really sad. But he created the GIF format, but he didn't come out in public and tell people how he wanted it pronounced until 13 years after people were using it. So that's where it got its own GIF kind of version. He wants it called GIF, but people were already calling it GIF by that point. And so anyway, that's where it kind of goes. But Giphy themselves did a campaign with Jif peanut butter. And so that's one I love, is that GIF is for Giphy and Jif is for peanut butter. And so they did a whole series of GIFs with Jif to make that differentiation. But they did first appear in 1993, but this predates the internet. So many people are like, didn't know that this format has been around that long. And you think back to the dancing baby. I don't know if you remember that one. That was one of the first GIFs, was that little baby that like danced around. And it is this idea of the flip books.
Ooga chugga.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to show you guys. I had a flip book of my mom and I from like 2009. But yeah, it's kind of that same concept, but just in a digital format. Keep going, Izzy.
You're good. By the way, my cat thinks it's Zoom hour all of a sudden. I think she's really excited about getting Giphy with it. So she's literally bouncing off the walls right now. So if she appears on the valance behind my head, you will know that I'm trying to keep her on that side of the camera. If you hear crashing, it's her being a wild woman. Okay. So what with the GIFs, just like in animation, I'm sure you've seen the old school animations where they're creating a frame by frame thing. But the reason this is powerful is several reasons. Is that it can take a larger format like a video and break it down to its smallest common denominator. So it can, like the videos that Megan has, it's breaking down her movements into these slices. So it's creating a format where it's photo after photo after photo that are being produced. But what it does is it allows it to be in a loopable format. So it's it's an infinite loop of that rolling through. But there are places that you would have to, like, let's talk about email for 2 seconds. If you've ever opened up an email and something is changing colors or moving, or there's some sort of movement going on, that is a GIF. That is not a video. Every video within an email must be clicked on for it to actually start moving. So when you see these, when you open up an email and they're using this to grab attention, you'll see the sale flashing. You'll see all the different shoes that they want you to buy coming across the page. They're using a GIF to grab that attention. And there's actually some statistics, like I think Dell Computers, there was a when they had created that the laptop that opened and flipped over with the tablet on top of it, they used a GIF in that, and they saw a significant difference in the amount of conversions of the email that used the GIF, because people were shown rather than just told what it could do or how that worked. And there's some other statistics like that motion and that the color changing, our little eyes get drawn to wherever that little bit is. And so your quote of, oh, so you do have that, the Giphy every day is serving 700 million users, and they're serving up 10 billion GIFs daily. So people across the world are on their phones, whether it's through a social media platform, whether it's in their emails or text message. By the way, if you use Chrome and Gmail, there is a Giphy widget that you can add to your Gmail. So it shows up actually in the Gmail, so you can actually add your GIFs straight into the email that you're sending. Same with iMessage. You can download the Giphy keyboard and be able to text them to people to be able to react, respond, all those wonderful things. But within social media platforms, Giphy is the sole search engine for platforms like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, the Threads. Now they just added that this last week or two, actually. But so when you're typing in GIF search in any of those platforms, you're accessing the Giphy libraries, and there's 3 libraries within the Giphy search. We'll get into that maybe in a minute. But but with Facebook, you're searching a mixture of Tenor and Giphy. But with LinkedIn, it's in the DMs, it's Tenor only, but you can add GIFs to LinkedIn. It's just got a little bit of workaround to make it happen there. But for the most part, when you upload once to Giphy, within if you're already verified, things we'll get into in a minute, but if you're already verified, then your GIFs should show up in the search engine within 24 hours. So you can start using them to react and interact and stuff. So anyway, okay, I'll hand it back to you, Meg.
No, yeah. Well, and I'm glad that you talked about that, because I've been watching some brands and paying attention more now. But my mom is a huge fan of Coach, and a couple of years ago, and I think they still use it, but they'll use GIFs to show their bags, but like in different angles, which kind of like the Dell thing, which is a really good way to show kind of how the product is being used, and used a little bit of education so that the viewer can actually see it without having to click on a video. It just does it for them and showcases. And I actually saw, it wasn't bubbly water, but it was a different water where they actually just had the same can, but it changed color for every flavor, and it just went back and forth so that you could see all of the different flavors of the specific water. And I'm like, that's a pretty smart way to do that. We even saw one with UGG boots where they actually showed with a GIF people customizing their boots with charms or monograms, and the GIF showing it in different ways. And I think about in my space in multifamily and in real estate and apartments, there are a lot of opportunities to show. I mean, we show a lot of vacant apartments or apartments that are empty online. And perhaps even, we do a lot of video walkthroughs. Being able to take some of those video walkthroughs and show them via a GIF of a walk-in closet or a pantry or that kitchen that really stands out, that feature benefit, and have that in your email. And I've actually, we've been, and we'll get into emails, but just, even putting it in my email signature block, you can add it. It can add the GIF right as an image. You upload most of the time as an image, and it will then accept as a GIF and then just start moving. So if you've gotten an email from me personally, you've probably seen I have this session, Get Giphy With It. I had a GIF going in every email for the last 30 days, but the intention was to catch people's attention and get out of that, again, cut through the noise and get some eyes back on that. And I have found success in a lot of different ways there. So like Izzy said, because they're small, they're a video that's taken to the smallest file size it possibly can be, and they run infinitely. They don't need to be clicked to start. They are a very powerful tool. And like we saw from the data, over 700 million views, million daily users. I've seen stats from, they view 12 billion GIFs a day or a month. They're just getting a lot of content out there, and really Giphy has it. And so we do have just a little bit about their power. Like I said, so Giphy, 700 million daily users. This one's over 12 billion requests to upload a month. But like Izzy said, they're releasing 10 billion a day.
Right.
That's a lot. They're really
so the 12 billion is the uploading to Giphy, I think. Like, it's not just anyway. So anyway, that's wild.
It's crazy. I mean, and we're also seeing some trends too with the personal and professional life being more integrated. And I think, COVID has helped that. But with the conversations, even in the office and between coworkers, we're seeing GIFs are definitely more widely accepted in a semi-professional setting. Obviously, it maybe not all the time. Depends on your client, your customer. Right. You can open with it, but maybe it's what sets you apart from everybody else that's reaching out to them. But Slack actually reported that GIF usage increased by over 39.7% just in 1 year. And so since they're tracking messages back and forth to people at work, they're seeing that this communication is actually an uptick with GIFs because it can just send the emotion, the celebration. I mean, I was reading this wonderful blog about GIFs on Slack and how people were celebrating someone having a baby. And they did like in Seinfeld where everybody's in Jerry's, apartment jumping up and down and yelling. And that just says a whole lot more than congratulations, right? I mean, that's showing the celebration and the enthusiasm. It also helps you with multi-generational communication because they are a little bit more low tech, which we'll get into. They're easier to use, they're easier to understand, and they have so much opportunity to express an individual's personality that really you could find a GIF or create your own GIF that helps you express what you're trying to show. And as I said, it's really show, not tell. You're not just telling people, you're actually showing them through an animated GIF.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
So, Megan, I did see someone's comment in the chat. Christy was saying Facebook doesn't support GIFs in posts. In comments they do, but not in posts, and it's so frustrating. Well, Facebook doesn't support them in you posting them from your phone or from your desktop straight to there. But with Giphy, you do have access to them. If you create a GIF within Giphy and add it to, if you're verified and you add it to it, and I just pulled it up on my phone to make sure, when you go to open up Facebook and it asks you at the top, what's on your mind? If you will swipe up and pull up all of the options that Facebook has for you, sometimes it's like a photo, a live video, a background color, all that stuff. One of those is a GIF button, and that actually searches Tenor and Giphy, which you were about to go to, Megan, on there. And you can, you would be able to search the GIFs that you created and added to Giphy and use those as a post on Facebook, not just in the comments. So I did want to answer that question.
Good. I'm glad you can see it because I can't see comments right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So that's a really good question. And that really, it's good because it leads us into the question of, so why are some of my GIFs not coming up? I've put them in Giphy. Well, there are two different platforms out there, and you probably have noticed their logo. And Giphy, when I was doing some research, hands down had the most users. So that was really, and that's where I found the artist that was an expert at it. but that was really what made the decision for me with Giphy, because they're in stories. I spend a lot of time on Instagram and Facebook as well, but especially Instagram stories and TikTok. And I loved that I could get a Giphy keyboard. You can also get a tenor keyboard, but hands down, the number of daily users, it was almost double with Giphy. So I'm not saying that I want to throw any shade towards tenor. I'm just saying that I started with Giphy, and then now our intention is to now grow into tenor. We've been uploading some of our same GIFs and some of our same MP4s that they convert them into GIFs. And we're starting to build out that tenor library as well, so that we can be a little bit more inclusive and easier to access it. But like Izzy's right, it's just more of a workaround, because that's maybe not their preferred platform on those platforms. They just make it a little bit difficult. But there are ways that if you spent the time and built the Giphies, that you still can showcase them. And even for me, if I've been able to maybe save them in my my photos, sometimes there's a workaround. Sometimes it'll upload it as a gift, and sometimes I've got to go through the workaround like Izzy said. But that would be really my suggestion, is that if you're trying to pick between the two, I think Giphy, you're going to get a little bit more bang for your buck. In my opinion, I also think it's a little bit more user friendly. But not say that you shouldn't. I would just say that might be like my second, like my round 2 or stage 2, is once I'm comfortable with Giphy and I've gotten that flow down and I've got some stickers integrated, then, I could go take that stuff and upload it then to tenor as well. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll move on then to stickers. So probably what caught my eye the most, what drew me in with the Drew Barrymore, was the stickers, because they were in stories, and I was leaning into Instagram and stories and trying to get more visible. And again, being able to overlay my logo, my flashing light bulb, was really important to me. So what is a GIF sticker? Well, it's going to be the transparent version, so it's not going to have any kind of background, so it makes it super easy to overlay over anything. It's available in stories, so that's probably one of my most favorite, as well as TikTok. So and other platforms, those are the two that I use. You can use them in comments. So you can either, if you have a Giphy keyboard, you can just search stickers and it'll come up. Or as Izzy shared on our live last week or 2 weeks ago, that if you search transparent and then your name, it will, or your account, then it will come up with your transparent stickers as well. And so you can really use them in comments. I was using them even this morning. I tend to stick with more reactions. So as you can see here, these are our views from about a month ago, so they've gone up even more. These are just our best performing ones. So we've got some that have almost 900,000 views, going down to just under 500,000 views. And I will share a little bit more about how some family members have sent me some stories that they follow from other accounts, much larger Instagram and Facebook accounts than I have. And they're using these stickers as reactions. So I just love that ability to be able to connect. I've been able to use them in my direct messages, as well as on Instagram, on Facebook, even any Slack again, or any other messaging platform I've been able to use. And if there are non-transparent backgrounds, then we found that you're not able to use those specific GIFs in stories. So again, they have to have this transparent background if you're going to be able to use them, is my understanding, or at least there's more stuff that has to be done to get them to show up in stories. And that's why I just hired Izzy, because I got properties to manage, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And so and I think we're going to dig into this in a little bit, but to get your stickers searchable, you have to have a verified account with Giphy. But you were saying there's no transparent background GIFs. That's actually not true. You can actually copy and paste solid GIFs. So say there's a television show that you want to add to your reels or to your stories, you can actually go to you can download the Giphy app itself, like from your app store onto your phone. And if you tap and copy any GIF and go over to your stories that you've already created, if you hit the text button, like the AA where you're typing, and you see that blinking cursor, if you tap it and hold it, it'll say paste, and you can actually paste any GIF into your stories or into your reels. So I use this when I'm doing like a talking head reel where I want to add a GIF reaction somewhere on the screen to what I'm talking about. Like I have a video about cake pops, and so I have this video of people shoving cake into their mouth, a GIF of people shoving cake into their mouth, a reel that I created. I will go over to the Giphy app and copy the full size GIF of Tina Fey on SNL shoving cake in her mouth over to my reel by copying it from the app, hitting the text button, and tapping the cursor to hit paste. And I can actually paste a GIF into that. And what I love about Reels right now is you can set it there for a time period, so it only appears when I'm referring to it, and then, or I can add a reaction GIF like Megan's like shocked face for a limited amount of time. You can set how long that sticker shows up there. One thing I did want to add to your list here of GIF stickers is that links, URL links are still clickable underneath a GIF. So let's say that Megan has a high five GIF that she does, like where her hands up. And she said, give me a high five if you want this message that I have for you. Well, she could hide the URL link, which all you do is you hit the happy face sticker guy at the top, pick the URL link, type in your website that you want to link people to, and then add your GIF on top of that link. So I have podcasters that use this, people who do YouTube videos, bloggers, where they say new episode. Or maybe I have a bridal company that says make an appointment. We make these buttons that are custom to them that people can tap on the button, but it's actually a link that's hidden behind it in Instagram stories. I have clients that say discovery call, set up a discovery call button, but they hide their calendar link underneath those. But so the podcasters have listened to the new episode, and it's you go over and have people like can tap on it, but it's branded to you, etc. And so people can actually click the link that's hidden behind. And I'll gamify it sometimes too. So I worked for a frozen custard company, and I made a story where I had a bunch of blackberries GIFs all over the place because we had a blackberry flavor thing coming out. And I downloaded that video of all these different blackberries moving of GIFs on my phone. And then I re-uploaded it as a story, but I added a URL link, and then I put another one of those little blackberries on top. And I said, one of these blackberries has a secret. Tap around to find out which one it is. And so they tapped on the one, and it'll say visit this URL. And it was a coupon code for the brand new flavor that we were releasing. And so it's just another way that you can kind of play with it. I do it at Christmas time. I'll have a Christmas tree, and I'll add a URL link and hide the Merry Christmas or whatever. Or like I'll add a link underneath the star and say tap the star at the top to find a surprise. And so it's a fun way to play with it.
My mind is just spinning, and I'm so glad that this is recorded and that I can go back like watch that again and then try and practice that, because I was just thinking like you could have tap the snowflakes and yep. I mean all of these, like you said, gamification, which again is going to get you a lot of activity on the social platform, which they love because you're getting people to engage and get interactive. And hello, besides asking how we did GIFs, the other question I get all the time is how do I get more engagement on social media? That would be a fantastic way to get more engagement on social media. I love, love, love that. She's dropping the knowledge bombs, everybody. All right. Well, let's then talk about fiddle click comments and DMs. So again, a standard GIF, and these are ones that I have added as well as some that Izzy has added, like the thank you. So that one I can add as, of course, in stories. But I've been using them as well to get again, it's a little bit more than an image, but talking about maybe some temporary staff or staffers that we have available and matching that in themes. And so when I will see on some of the Facebook groups or something where someone's like, oh, I need a maintenance person, and they might be in my market, it besides just replying and saying like, hey, DM me, I could DM them, or I could reply in the comments, or in the comments or in their DM, I could reply with an actual GIF and say, hey, like I have maintenance, and it just a little bit more fun. It's a little bit more movement. We are able to add these in our email as well. Currently, right now, we use MailChimp, and so they integrate right with Giphy. And I go and search, Smart Apartment Solutions or Smart APT, and all of our GIFs that have been loaded up right there. But most of these are all the ones that I have created, like the one with the truck. That is created in Canva. It's just something that I've added a bunch of animation to the text and the images, so you can really customize it in how you want the message to be portrayed, or if there's a specific, learning tool. We've got another one that is 6 low-cost apartment mini model ideas, and so we did that under $250, and so that has been a very popular GIF. A month ago, it was at over 41,000, almost 42,000. I think it's 63,000 views yesterday when I checked it. And then even just quick responses. So like, wow, or I'm excited, or I'm listening. Things that you might want to just show again a little bit more of your personality. You're allowed to do that with GIFs, and it's going to drive home your personality, your authenticity, just a little bit more through it without having to send a video and go through all of the time. And it's there in your arsenal. So I just have these, when I'm going deep into a Facebook support group, I'm able to I have these right in my Giphy account. I can go and copy and paste them, or I can just upload my, right from Giphy keyboard, and I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I think you're on mute.
Right,
I didn't know if you had any.
Sorry, I was coughing earlier. I don't want to do that in y'all's face. So, no, this is so great. So, I'm gonna try to do this as quick as I can. But I love GIFs for using. Oh, sorry, this probably goes back a little bit to the stickers, for using them for calls to action. Like, you could create your own custom stickers. I have several clients that have like DM me or message me, that these little stickers that sometimes you have to hold your audience's hand and tell them what you want them to do next. So even on your reels, creating a follow me button that's your fonts, your colors, your branded to you, or even the heart or the save this, or one of those, so you can make your own stickers that are these calls to action for people to reach out and do. That's the same with that new blog post or new episode button, that it is a call to action. But we can use them to grab attention, like the ones that Megan was using, where she's like pointing. She's trying to get people to look at a specific place on the screen. And so it's a great place to grab attention. But also this idea of increasing engagement and building community. That's where the comments and DMs, I think, are really powerful. Because one thing I love to think about with Giphy is that it's this emotional connection that you can have with someone, because there is a way that you can use GIFs to quickly summarize an emotion, an experience, a moment in time, because we can all, like you were mentioning, the baby and the Seinfeld, where everybody's like excited, like we can almost, if you've ever seen it, exactly what one it is. And there's other ones that we're very familiar with, because we use these as a way to communicate. So like the whole, like, Schitt's Creek has its whole library of GIFs that people use, because it explains more in a moment than they can get across. And so reactions are a really great way for you to do this. So having your own custom reactions, like Megan has with a thank you or the wow, because that wow of hers could have been an excited wow, or it could be a whoa, like that's intense type of wow. But that little bit of emotion can make a pretty big impact. But what part of this does is this top of mind. It keeps you present, because if you take a look at Megan's gifts down here, she has her logo up in the corner, but you can add your handle or your website to it. So I work with a lot of real estate agents that want to stay top of mind. So we create a series of library gifts for them that are these greeting card moments. So say one of your tenants or your clients or whatever is celebrating a promotion or something like that, you could have a gift that's a congratulations or a cheers, like a job well done or great job even, to be able to comment on their post with, that has your handle on it, that you could that is that little bit of a nod that says, oh yeah, I needed to talk to them about something. So that's one reason why my real estate agent friends love it, is because they have happy birthday, happy new baby, happy promotion. Like they will cover Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, good morning, good evening, and good night. Like to have all of it, to be able to have their name in front, constantly in front of someone. So it's a way for you to show up in Facebook comments and other places. So say somebody is posting a video, a reel about their fun birthday that they had. You could have your own greeting card reaction that says happy birthday, but it's branded to you, showing up on someone else's post. And something I have found, because Instagram has only released GIFs and comments in the last month, 2 months or so, maybe 3 months now, but I have one GIF that I had posted on a reel that went viral. So the reel, I think, it was someone else's reel that they posted. It was like 6 million views. And I posted a GIF that I had made for them in the comments. And guys, the GIF comment on this person's reel has over 450 likes. The comment has that. Like it's a GIF comment on a reel that went viral. People are still, like, I still get notifications that she posted that reel maybe a month ago now, but I'm still getting likes on the GIF that I commented with on her post. And so what I want to say is, it's this other way for you to be able to start showing up in that space. But what one powerful way, and I know Megan's going to get to this in just a minute, is the building community side of it. When you start to see other people using your GIFs. I have several people that are authors, are influencers, and they've taught their community how to use their stickers or how to use their GIFs, because they will create these inspirational or encouraging messages. Like, I have one client, she has a GIF that just says, "You're amazing." But that one GIF has been viewed over 12 million times, and it's one of her most highly engaged GIFs, but it has her handle on it. It just says, "You're amazing." And so when she other people are obviously using it across the platforms, but it's this getting to know you side. The other thing, and I'll finish up because I think you're going to move to this in a second, is I have clients that will use it as FAQs or tutorials. So they'll start farming the things that people are asking them on a regular basis, and they will create a library of GIF answers that they can quickly respond to them with in comments and DMs to the questions that they're getting on a regular basis. And so I will stop and I'll hand it back to you, Megan, because I think we're going to get to that.
You're good. Yes, but we will. So let me then move on. So comments and DMs, one of the many ways that you can use them. It's going to go eye-catching emails. So being able to bring some attention back to emails. So we're doing a weekly email blast. It's our newsletter. And like I said, I've used many of them to talk about staffing or upcoming education. We just went through a big move. We went remote. After 15 years in business, we took our business 100% remote. And so we added GIFs about that and being able to bring that move, because we wanted, the 5,000 or so people on our email blast to see that, to call attention. And maybe they're just skimming through the text. I do this sometimes too, but they're going to come and stop on that. And so since we've started adding them, we've noticed that we've been able to get more clicks. Look at a click map on MailChimp, and we can actually see where the GIFs are. People are actually clicking on that call to action, like Izzy said. And so it's bringing their eyes right to that movement, and then they see that call to action, and they're able to go right to it, read more about it, get access to whatever, book the staff, the class, what have you. And it's inbox friendly, because we already talked about that. Because of the format of a GIF, it's most inboxes. Maybe there's some that are even more restrictive, like NASA or NORAD. But other than that, you're probably able to get through, especially if you know the person. So I love that for email. And like I said, most of the platforms can integrate right with Giphy, maybe even 10, maybe that becoming, these things can change quickly. But I'm able to just search that. Or if it doesn't, then I just download the GIF right from Giphy and then upload it as an image, and it still moves as an image in my email platform. So there's plenty of workarounds. I mean, the integration is nice because, you know, you can just go and add it right there. I'm going to add, there's an awesome comment from Kendra. She said that she just added the extension to her Gmail. Congratulations. I'm going to do that too, because honestly, Kendra, I haven't. I've been doing it the old, like, hard way, and I'm going to do it the smart way. So that's one way.
Can I add one thing to the email side of things? So guys,
Sure.
you can add a hyperlink to any image or any GIF in your email. So I have clients that will create a GIF version of a video that they want people to play, that it's a short clip of the video with a play button on top of it. And they'll add that to their email, but they'll be moving just a little bit in the video with this play button on top, and they've added a hyperlink. So what happens is when people touch the play button on the video, it will actually open up a new window that takes them to YouTube or to Instagram Reels or to wherever, to your blog, wherever you're wanting to send them. But you can add a hyperlink to it. Same with creating a GIF button where you say, sign up for this webinar or this newsletter. And if it's changing, if you make a GIF of it where it's changing color or blinking or whatever, you can hyperlink that as a button within their email to send them to the sign up link, all those things. So play around with that and see how that works for you.
Wow. Again, glad this has been recorded so I can go back and try all of these things, because it's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Yes. Oh, and I want to see what Christy said. Yes, we do this for video tools at IzzyInk. Yes, they do. And I have been paying attention in IzzyInk's their community newsletter that they send out, which is amazing, by the way. If you have not subscribed, it's so, so good. But they have been using some GIFs too in their emails, as well as their new logo. They just did kind of a refresh, and I've loved it. It's been very eye-catching, and it just makes it stand out. I just love it. Well, then I also wanted to call this out too. So like a little blog magic. So we've been adding to our blog. I blog on WordPress, but I've actually been able to, again, download the GIF as a GIF and then add it to my feature image on my blog. And then so actually it will be at the top of my blog in the blog post, but then on the side, if someone goes to my blog, it will have this moving image. And what I love about that is it makes it searchable. So on Google with its images, so it's searchable there as well. It's eye-catching movement, which also will increase the views. I've noticed that since I've been adding the GIF to my featured movement, we're getting more views. It also gives the reader more insight into the blog as to what they're going to be reading about. So, you know, if I'm talking about like the one with SMART goals or about the jar of life with big rocks, you know, they're able to see like, this is the one with that exercise that I read before, if they're coming back to it. So it's a little easier to remember that. I noticed that we started getting more shares since we've been adding the GIFs to our featured image. And like I said, it's easier for our return visitors, which we've noticed where people are coming back, maybe looking through our blog, trying to find more information. It's easier for them to find that info.
I wonder, I know I probably should have looked this up before I mention it, but I wonder if someone pins your blog, if they use that image, if that GIF is, so I know you can post GIFs to Pinterest and add the link to them, but I would be curious to see if you pinned your blog post and you chose the GIF as the image for it, if it would still be active or not. Somebody in the chat might know the answer to that, but I will hand it back to you, Megan.
That's awesome. And Christy said, yeah, their open responses have been insane. And yeah, I mean, I love the movement. And we're all creatures of habit. I do it. I'm marketing and I do it. So it's like, if you pay attention to what catches your eyes, it's probably going to be eye-catching to your customer. So I'm going to try that again. Glad this is recorded so I can go try that out on Pinterest. All right. Are you going to advance from you, my little friend? Okay. Low tech education. So really, this was one that kind of just totally blew my mind. And so in the beginning of COVID, I was actually working I served on some committees with the Property Management Association of Michigan. And it was the beginning of COVID. We were doing a lot of things through Zoom. Zoom was very new to a lot of our members and very, very, very frustrating to get through some of the pieces and parts. And so for us, some of us had been on Zoom and we were comfortable with, you know, changing out backgrounds. But a lot of our members really, it was a pain point. And so we came up with this thing as communications committee to create these custom Zoom backgrounds that had our Property Management Association of Michigan logo and then all of the 4 sporting affiliates. And we wanted people to be able to have that branding so that they could kind of cover up the mess and just have a little bit of fun in a dark kind of time. And so we created several. We had several of our members. Shout out to Joanna from AMP. She created many, many of them. And so we knew we needed to show our members how to use them, right? So I actually just did some screen recordings through QuickTime of showing how I downloaded images from the blog on the website, and then how I was able to save them to my desktop, and then another GIF of how I could upload them to the Zoom platform and then add them to my background. We even did some troubleshooting so that, you know, if you had an older laptop like I did at the time and you need a green screen to be able to use Zoom backgrounds, how could you, you know, function through that? And those have had some of our highest views, as you can see again over a month ago, 507,000 views. And that's not even for me, that's on our Giphy account, but that is for the Association of Michigan. And that's their brand, their logo, just being shown over and over and over. And people use this also because it's tagged Zoom background. So if you search Zoom background on Giphy or even online, then this information will come up. So we then started to lean into some continuing to repurpose some of our tips for Tuesdays. So we had a series in Canva that we were creating where we were doing like 6 tips to be a good leasing person, you know, 6 tips to be a great regional manager. And we started just downloading the MP4s from Canva and then uploading them in our Giphy account. And we started getting lots and lots of views on that. And we're like, hey, maybe we're into something with education. And so then that actually grew into, like Izzy said, being able to really look at pain points in our industries or see where maybe a GIF could add some solutions in low-tech education. So for example, like the apartment leasing safety floor plan, like where it's to stand in an apartment so that you can maybe fend off of an attacker. I'm not a police officer, so please don't quote me on safety, but at least some just common sense knowledge, even apartment demonstration, something we train with our leasing consultants every single day, where to stand in an apartment, where to demonstrate, all of these things. We were able to turn that into a GIF. And again, that now has over 46,000 views. I checked that this morning. So that's like the GIF that keeps on giving. And I'm able to put that education out there. It helps establish me as a thought leader in my space. And people are just viewing it. And again, I'm able to drop it in my email. I can use it in the comments as kind of my frequently asked questions. And I'm able to use that in my arsenal. Izzy, did you have anything else you wanted to add to this before I move on?
Just really quickly, because I was glancing at something on, and I know you don't have it up yet, or you're not going to probably, but I was just digging into the back end of some of your analytics. I downloaded your engagement rate, and there's a GIF that you have on time management, and it has one of the highest engagement rates of all of your GIFs, which is 20%, which means when someone types in the word time management, they're choosing Megan's GIF 20% of the time. So it quickly like walks through, like, do this first, don't do that, whatever, which means and it has smartapartmentsolutions.com across the bottom. So this is something that someone's either they're commenting with it on people's posts, or they're posting it like on Facebook, etc. Like, to be able to say, if they're wanting to talk about time management, it's they're typing time management, but they're finding Megan's GIFs in, and we'll get about the keywording. But what I want to say is these educational posts that she's creating have a potential of representing you and your brand in front of other people, because you're addressing subjects that are in and around your niche and your area. So I'll hand it back to you, Megan.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think I just actually uploaded that recently because I'm working on a time management blog series right now for Big Rock. So that's awesome. I'm glad to know that. See, I'm learning so much. If it will click. Come on now. And so I will let you talk about this because she mentioned it in our live, but go ahead, Izzy.
Yeah, sure. So a lot of the big brands have their own way of using GIFs, and this is Bubbly. Michael Bublé actually is one of their celebrity endorsers. But what I love about this is that they create recipe GIFs to be able to show people rather than just tell people how to create using their product. And so something Megan is was talking about in what you were just referring to is that she was able to show rather than just tell people how to use the Zoom background. Same with these other things that she might want her tenants to know, or these tips that she might want to share about, or services that she offers, or whatever. So she's educating while these things are going on. So like for this one, they for all the what you have written is like for all the different flavors, they have different recipes that people can use with that. But how could you dress that in the clothes of your industry or niche of thinking about a recipe? I'm not talking about food, but what is a recipe for a great onboarding experience of a new tenant moving into an apartment? What is a great offboarding experience for your client to be able to, and so how could you create a recipe of you need to have this in order and that to be able to for references to be able to do? So how could you build out a recipe, if you will, of an educational piece to help your client with a problem or what they're working on? Anyway, back to you, Megan.
Yeah, no, I love that you put it in that perspective, a recipe, because that's exactly what it is. It's really a recipe for their success, a recipe for Christy, for you, with Reeling, probably, tips for your clients on how to get a really good video, or ring light tips if you even wanted to niche down a little bit further, or like we did with how to set up a good mini model. There's so many opportunities, where you could even how to be a great podcast guest, or for my marketing, how to take really good photos of my property, things like that. All of that, you could use it for training your brand guidelines. There's just so many possibilities where GIFs are going to get more eyeballs on them than just text. All right, will you advance, please? All right, so exposure beyond our expectations, probably the gift that keeps on giving is I have been approached at some of our industry events. So recently I was at Apartmentalize, which has over 10,000 multifamily industry professionals. And I had someone run across the trade show floor to tell me that she saw our sticker being used on another account and that she sees them all the time. We've had clients tell us about that. I've had family members send me screenshots, which this one actually comes from. This is a very famous dermatologist that has like 54.7 thousand followers, way more than I do. And she was using my shaking fist one that Izzy uploaded because it's funny. And she was using it about her skincare line and dermatology. And so again, my family member who lived in New York City at the time saw that, recognized that on this very famous account and screenshotted it and sent it to me. And so it helps also with piquing interest from past clients. I've had clients that have, again, noticed it, maybe haven't been connected to in a while, and it helps that conversation start. And they're always growing. They're just passively growing in the background without me doing a whole lot to them. So I know we're getting a little close on time. So I just want to go to some of the tips and trips before we wrap up, and then we'll get to a point where we can do Q&A if you guys have them and want to stick around. But to get started, you'll want to identify the content that you already have. I think that's an easy kind of low-hanging fruit. If you've already been creating these tips or these pain points, that's a good idea. Or if you know something that kind of represents maybe your brand. I'm looking at Dana Duckworth is here in the audience, and she's known as the big speaker. So a big speaker would be an awesome gift for you to really brand what you're doing. And she has this wonderful podcast called The Hilariously Unemployed. And it's so good. You should check it out if you haven't. But some ways to get some exposure about that podcast. Go ahead and get a Giphy account set up. You'll have to get verified if you're going to want to be able to integrate that. If that is, again, not your cup of tea, we have Izzy here, so she is hireable. She can do it for you, and you can continue your life in property management. And she can do it for you and get you started like she did with me. And then, no, I just keep adding to it. And then if there's something that's a little more complicated, then I can, I already have a list for Izzy for things that I want to get done. We've got a holiday logo we want to get in there, just a bunch of stuff. Brainstorm reactions, like Izzy said. So looking at maybe those greeting cards or those popular, like the Jonah Hill reaction, I recreated that. What are some ones that really speak to you? And then if you have a green screen, you can record them on a green screen. And that's how Izzy accepted them for me. So just some videos of me doing the reaction for Loop. And then I sent the video to her and she took care of it. So just to show you, MP4's videos work great. Izzy already actually covered this. The views are counted when it's presented. To an individual the first time, right? It's not multiple times. And then views are updated every 24 hours. So if you're like me, you upload something and you're like, I want to go see the views right away. Sorry, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow, and your views will update every 24 hours. They have a whole analytic dashboard. So like Izzy was touching, you can actually download your analytics and see engagement and see, what are those words that are really working? Why are people choosing this one? This one's performing really, really well, or it's not. Maybe I can change this up. Maybe it's in the wrong category. Maybe the keyword's wrong. You have all of these opportunities. You can use a keyword. You have up to 20 possibilities. So again, like time management, me tagging time management in there, and then also maybe some other tags around that help to support people. That was able to get that, more views, people seeing it, and more people wanting to look at it. And then you're able to drill down on metrics like Izzy shared. I don't know, Izzy, if you wanted to share any more on that.
Sure, just really quickly. So just like you have
Sure.
SEO, search engine optimization, there is GEO, GIF engine optimization. So you want to kind of think along the lines of, even yourself, when you go to open up the GIF search for anything, how are you typing your search in there to find the perfect GIF for it? And maybe there's a GIF that you like that you can't seem to find. So a lot of times you might need to add extra words to it. Or maybe you want to change up what you're being served. So add something extra. So using words like, especially like in stickers on stories, you might want to search, if you use a certain brand color, you could add that brand color. So say blue elements or blue emphasis, and it'll pull up blue items that aren't necessarily branded to anyone in particular, but like aesthetic or minimalist or like these other words. So add extra words to it to try to find it. So maybe you want an excited, you're so excited, you type in so excited, but you want a cat. So you would, even when you tag things on your account, you could type in so excited cat if you made a GIF that was that. And so thinking about how people would actually type into GIF search, that your GIF would be one that you would want to be found for. So if just like the apartment management side of things, that might not be what someone's typing into it, but what are some terms around what you do that somebody might actually be looking for, like crazy landlord, or like I don't know if that's what they'd be looking for, but how could you like capitalize on those? So I would only use a handful of specific to you hashtags, like smart apartment solutions. You would want to use a couple of those because it helps with some other things. But for the most part, try to think pretty general about what those, even like, because one of the reason that Megan's GIFs are being used in other people's posts, and I'll try to look it up when I stop talking, but the emotions that we added to those GIFs, like frustrated or angry or over it, or like what, because that's what people are typing. They're typing, I'm over this. Or, and so anyway, thinking along those lines of how would your content, your GIF that you're creating, be a solution or an answer to somebody's search query in the GIF search engine. Hand it back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, what is the reaction I'm trying to, or the feeling, the emotion that I'm trying to invoke here? Frustration, angry, excited. Yeah, maybe add them all if it's, more a general reaction. But Yeah, definitely the keyword is hashtags. It's a whole other scenario that you want to play with. And so we do have a question. I wanted to put this up from Dana. She said, how much time are you dedicating to creating? And I'll start first and then I'll let Izzy join in that, because, you know, for me, it's not my world. I'm not a GIF artist. And that's where I looked into a lot of the content that I already created. So the tips for Tuesdays. And I think that's probably where I would tell people to start when you're just starting out, because you might already have that content in Canva that's can either be quickly recreated or readjusted. And then I started actually looking at content that maybe I could create in the future, and how that I would know that it would be Giphy friendly. So I think that actually helped create my future content, because now, you know, after I've repurposed all my old content, I'm now looking, my new content is with the lens of how can I put this on Giphy, or will this resonate well in that Giphy world? Okay, I'll let Izzy answer too, because she does this more.
Yeah. So one part of this is how can you create GIFs that can say multiple things with one? So going back to the one where Megan's like shaking her fists, we have angry in there. We have shaking her fists. We have frustrated. I'm going to swipe over. You better watch out. Feisty, fighting words. Why I oughta. Um, so but people from that range of emotions between frustration and anger, that shaking of the fist side of things could cover it. Same with a congratulations type of GIF could cover a new baby, a new house, a new promotion, and so as far as how much you're creating, if you can get a little creative and general with some of them, as far as in the reaction side of things, you could have a library that helps address certain collections of things. So like I have several clients who have just a cheers post with them at something bubbly in their hands, or a glass of whiskey or whatever, but they use that for birthdays, for a project, finishing up a project. Like they can reuse the same content. But as far as like of dedicating the time to creating, especially if we're talking specifically about the video reaction GIFs, the like for Megan, I had asked her to do the same action over and over again, but I'm only using probably 1 to 2 seconds of each video that she sent me. So she recorded her videos like one after, she had a list of emotions that she wanted to convey, and she recorded them one after another, and then sent that to me to process, to remove the backgrounds, and to be able to process them correctly for Giphy's transparent side of things. But so the making of that side, I think, so for me, Megan, I don't know if this is true for you, it's the ideation phase that takes me the longest. Once I know kind of what I want, then the actual creation of them doesn't take unless it's really intricate, because some of my clients do ask for hand-drawn frame by frame animations of like illustrations of things moving, and so that does take a lot longer. But when you're using programs that can help you animate, like Canva, etc., I personally use Adobe After Effects for a lot of my motion graphics and the text heavy ones like that, then I will do that. I hope that makes sense, Dana. I hope that answers your question. But I think you can create a library that you're using. And one thing Megan touched on, but when I get a client verified, we can then we can narrow down the search to their library of GIFs. So for Megan, for instance, she can search at smart APT solutions in any GIF search, and it's going to narrow it down to her library. So then when she says at smart APT solutions, I don't want to say apartment because it's not the full word apartment, smart APT solutions, she can add the word frustrated, and it's only going to bring up the ones that Megan has created or that we've created for her in the frustrated side of things. If she just types in the word frustrated, she's going to get everybody else's GIFs. So a way to narrow them down is to search with the at symbol to find those. So for instance, like Starbucks, you can search the official Starbucks stickers by doing the at Starbucks one. Same with the NFL. And I didn't talk to you about this one, Megan, but the NFL live GIFs every game. They actually have a deal with Giphy because they know people like to talk trash through text message and posting online. I mean, it's a whole big relationship since 2016. They live GIF. They have uploaded over 45,000 GIFs on the NFL Giphy account, and they've been viewed over 112 billion times because people like to talk trash, and they have built a community around that. But you take the opposite of that, the Hallmark Channel, they have uploaded I think 18,000 GIFs, and I forget how many billions of views they have on theirs, but they take moments from the Christmas movies that people can text to each other, or they have their whole series of greeting cards. If you ever see a GIF that has a little crown in the corner, that's actually the Hallmark crown. And so it those little greeting card gifts, but again, their community is sending them to each other, whether it's a happy birthday or a even the condolence gifts. I know you're probably like, what? But yeah, like there's some gifts out there. If somebody loses a pet or a loved one, you can actually send a, like, I'm praying for you, or anyway. So there are bigger brands that are using these to build community across the platform. That was a lot, and I'm going to hand it back to you, Megan.
No, it's such good information. And even for the folks that I know, if you had to go, getting it on the recording, it's all here for you. And so Dana, just to wrap this up, when I did the reaction stickers, I batched them. And so I had 2 different shirts that I wore. So there was a beige sweater and then like a red and white striped sweater. And I had the list, which I think took the very long to decide what I wanted. And then actually doing the video maybe took 45 minutes to do all of the reactions because I knew what I wanted to do. I had my green screen set up. I just changed my shirt and then I did the reactions. And then once I was good with it, I dropped them into a folder and Izzy took care of the rest. And so that really got like the bulk started and the jump start started. And so that only took me hour, 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours total with like the researching and thinking what I wanted to do. And then from there, like I said, it is really just creating what I've already got or an MP4. And I would say the longest part is really just picking the keywords and typing that all in. Sometimes I wish I could just like have, a set of the smart apartment solution, like it could save it and just drop them in because I repeat them every single time.
Oh, you can.
But that's yes. Okay, well then that's something that I'll learn too.
I'll have to show you how to do that. Yeah. I keep like in my notes app, I will type out, and if you put a comma between each keyword that you're wanting to do, you can have a list of them that you easily copy and paste. And when you're uploading multiple GIFs like that, on the right hand side, there's a place where you can drop hashtags, if you will, the keywords that you want to add to every GIF, and then you can go into each individual GIF to add their own thing. But there's even a place for you to bulk edit within your Giphy account afterwards, where you can select your library and add hashtags to several of them, etc. on a bulk side of things. So now you're telling me like educational content I need to be making, Megan.
Yes, I think there might be a version of Giphy With It too, or maybe Izzy she's tapping into some more how to go a little bit further. So, well, great. Well, I am going to go ahead and wrap because I think that is the end of our slide. So I'm going to remove that and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. So everybody, just so you know, because I get it, maybe you had to step away for lunch or a resident came in. But we've got you. We'll get you the link so you can watch this recording. We'll get you the slides as well as Izzy's contact information so that if you want to go a little bit deeper or you've got more questions, or even you're just looking for some support, you've got her and she's here as well as me. I'm happy to help you. And then let us know if this is something that you like, if you want to see more education, more expert guests like this, other get Giphy with it with a little bit deeper dive. Let us know. We love your feedback. But until then, we can let you get on with your day and you can go ahead and get Giphy with it. All right. So bye, everybody. See you later. All right.